Hey guys, it's Elias. So I've been meaning to start this YouTube channel, start posting content, but I've been so swarmed with personal life circumstances that I haven't really had the chance. So I figured that just for the first video, I'm gonna kind of just talk about some personal experiences and motivate and you know, key motivators and key events inside of my life for why I have the aspirations that I do now. So this video that you're watching is titled um, "Why Religion is a Poison in the Black Community." Um, I make that statement not based just entirely on personal anecdote. Um, I'm not going to sit and recite studies just because I think that's really fucking boring. And like I said, eventually I'm going to get to the point over time where I'm in a better headspace, um, and things are together more in my life where I'll really be able to plug in and make the channel incredibly professional. But like I said, some content is better than others. So or more some content is better than no content. So why is religion a poison in the Black community? So this goes back to 1700s slavery. Inside of Africa, we were enslaved, and inside of Africa, we had multiple different um, pantheistic religions that were centered around um, different loose forms of spirituality. Um, I've researched hoodoo, I've researched voodoo. I've never practiced those things, but I know about them. And when the Europeans came and abducted us from our homeland and brought us overseas to America, as well as brought us to, or just enslaved us in Africa and just in general, Christianity became imbued inside of our community. Um, Now, this isn't something that is a new perspective that hasn't been talked about before. People have talked about this before. People have talked about that religion is a poison, specifically Christianity. Um, and I'd go a step further, and I would say that it's not just Christianity; it's also it's Christianity and Islam. Um, it's the Abrahamic faiths, specifically. I don't have a problem with with spirituality or religious beliefs that are loosely spiritual. The problem that I have is Abrahamic religion, and specifically, um, well, really just all of them. Um, so the problems that I have with religion inside the Black community, and me believing that there's a negative effect um, on my community, it stems from a lot of the social messaging that's inside of religion. So for example, when it comes to the origin story of Adam and Eve, I believe that it is that story, and this is by no means saying that I'm a Satanist or anything like that. I believe that the story is fiction. I believe it didn't happen. I believe that it's mythology, that it's old mythology. um that the idea behind that story is to not seek knowledge that others don't approve of. The idea of eating a forbidden fruit, the apple, and you take it and you eat it, and it grants you knowledge that God doesn't want you to know. Why is that a bad thing? And I really want you to sit with that thought if you're watching this video. Why is that a bad thing to seek knowledge that God, quote unquote, doesn't approve of? So it begs the question, God has the right to tell you what you're allowed to know and not know about the universe. What if eating the apple inside of the apple of Eden gave Adam and Eve an idea on how they could kill God and become gods themselves? Not I don't think that that's actually the case. But what if it did though? What if that was the purpose and that was the reason? See, I don't look at religion from the angle of I don't look at religion from the angle of the this is written by God. These are books that have been written by man to manipulate, to control society, culture, our social norms. It is a way to keep us subservient. It is a way to stop freedom of expression. It is a way to keep us boxed in. It's a way to stop us from being free. And it's a distraction from what the actual fucking enemy is. The people that are rich elites, people who are in positions of power, people who are in the political arena the way that I am, but that are not genuine about the work that they do and are fake. And if you check their record, their record doesn't check out. It's really insane to me that, not getting into my personal circumstances or even talking entirely about relationship problems, because I think that while this is my channel and this is my platform and I have the right to express myself as I please, I also respect the privacy of my family members and other people that are related to me closely or what have you. And so I'm not going to go into depth, but I left Islam when I was 13 years old. I left Islam when I was 13 years old. I left Islam because I knew that I wasn't heterosexual, and I could not accept the fact that I deserved to burn in hell for all eternity just based off the fact that I'm queer and I have sexual attractions to men. It just simply was not something that that seemed at all reasonable to me. And now I don't talk about this all the time, because most people that know me, they usually just think that I'm straight, and it's not. My sexuality is not something that I harbor on as being the the most important part of my personality, and it isn't the most important part of my personality. I am so disappointed that after an entire decade, like an entire decade of me leaving Islam, my father is still holding on to hope that one of these days his vision of me is going to come true, and I'm going to come back to God. And it just shows how much religion has a craw inside of our community. It the fact that we have all these fucking issues inside of our community: poverty, crime, gang violence, police brutality, racial profiling. We have Black people, I believe that we have insignificantly high. I'm not sure about. Well, I'm not going to even, touch on, you know, sexual health or bi rate or anything like that. But it's really weird to me that we have all of these issues inside of our fucking community that can be solved by the scientific method of testing, researching, and observing. And yet, every day, you have households of people who would rather stifle free thought. You would rather keep your children from thinking outside of the box or figuring things out for themselves or merely researching and figuring out the world for themselves. I cannot understand. I can't understand, and I'm never going to understand how it is that someone who is someone who's a loving God is going to allow my community to deal with the problems that it deals with. That I go outside and I have to be careful when a fucking cop car comes by because who knows, I may have an interaction or a racist person, not to mention systemic oppression that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I can be filling out job applications and they get knocked back. All of these problems and all of this evil could not be inside of the world if the Abrahamic God was actually real. Now, the deistic God, meaning that there's a neutral deity, a neutral God that created the universe but is hands off and lets the chaos unfold, I could understand why that concept is reasonable. I can understand why someone would why someone would be a deist. Matter of fact, I said that I was a deist before I became an atheist. But it still begs the question that there's absolutely no way to go back that far. We are talking about events on the origins of the universe that date back hundreds of thousands of years, before any of us in this current generation were alive, but way before modern day time. And so, yet, even though it's a case that we can't go back that far, you still got niggas fucking acting like they know for a fact. Oh, I know you're gonna go to hell. Oh, I know that when I die, I'm gonna. No, you don't know. No, you don't know what's gonna happen when you fucking die. You know, you know what you do know about when you die? That your fucking brain function is gonna stop and you're not gonna be able to do anything that you wanna fucking do here. That's what you do know. You do know that. You do know that. You don't know. You don't know that that's what's going to happen. So I wish that specifically, especially conservative Christian families, I wish that they would just be fucking honest about, just be honest about the fact that they are controlling. They are controlling. And it breaks my heart to know that even after all the trauma that I suffered growing up inside of a religious household, that there are still people that are out here that are still forcing religion onto their children. And I don't care what any religious parent says. Well, I've never forced religion onto you. I've never forced religion onto you. I don't force religion onto you. Well, I'm sorry, but a lot of the times parents may say that they're doing something. They may say that, oh, I'm not forcing religion onto my kid. But if you are constantly pressuring them and making them feel like that they're not doing something right inside of their life, and you're not accepting them wholly as who they are, in a way, you are pressuring them. You are pressuring them to become religious, because you're saying, what you're saying is that that there's something missing, that they need to be practicing. It's just gravely disappointing. I wish that I could live inside of a world where my people did not believe in fucking fairy tales. They like genuinely, seriously, and the effects of these beliefs are incredibly negative. If you actually dig into the literature and actually dig into what it's advocating for, and the messaging, the way that the Bible and the Quran says that, we should treat women, and that women are to be subservient to men, and all sorts of bullshit like that. How the fuck does anybody follow this shit? How? I don't fucking understand it. I don't fucking get it. How come we can't form coalitions and focus on charity and doing good works to help us out in the present and bettering our lives and our existence right here and now, instead of clinging on to this idea that when we die, that somehow we're going to magically exist somewhere else? The whole purpose of religion is to cure the human fear of death. That's what the fuck it is. Because the idea that a person is going to die in 70 to 100 years on this planet, it is an incredibly harrowing and upsetting thought to grapple with, to accept. So, like I said, I could go on and on and on and on and on about my issues and my disdain for religion, and why I feel the way that I feel about it. But the runtime that I'm looking at is about nearly already 20 minutes, so I want to start closing the video out. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say. I just, this isn't to say that you have to be a non-religious person to be successful, or that you have to be an atheist. You can be successful. Your success has more to do with economic status more than anything. And I wish that people would just focus on that. I wish people would just focus on that and not think about the fact that not think about the fact that religion. I wish that religion didn't even exist, to tell you the truth. Because if it didn't exist, I wouldn't have gone through the bullshit that I went through, and the people in the world would not have gone through the shit that they've gone through. That's what I wish. And maybe one of these days we'll get there. Maybe one of these days we'll get to the point where where in the future we'll be in the future sometime soon. Maybe 5 or 10 years from now, the rate of atheism will continue to climb. And truthfully, it is. And I'm glad that it is. Because I think that religion altogether should die. Because you don't have to be religious to be happy. You don't have to be religious to be successful. You don't have to be religious to be a good person. You can do all of those things, and you can do it off of humanistic integrity. So I just had to talk about this shit. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my pages and check my shit out. And thanks for watching.